to extend a warm welcome to all of you who have taken time off today on Sunday to attend this webinar uh, that we are going to conduct on passivization and RunRack. That is a new product that is being launched in this category. Before taking over to the session, I'd like to take you to a brief glimpse of Zydus as an organization. As you can see in the insert picture, this is Sri Raman Bhai Patel, who is the founder chairman of Zydus Cadila. We have a legacy of over 66 years, and this is an innovator pharmaceutical company. Zydus has almost over 23,000 people as employees in this organization, and we have our presence in almost most of the continents like USA, Latin America, Africa, India. Our core businesses are visible on your screen. We are into high-end API manufacturing. We are into animal health, wellness, research and development, formulations. These are few of the proven track records and accolades that we have gathered over the year, along with some of the commercial aspects of the organization. We have 8 R&D centers. We are among top 300 brands in India, among top 5 pharmaceutical companies in India. So Zydus has forayed into all these molecules. So monoclonal antibodies, nutraceuticals, peptides, biologicals, small molecules, new chemical entities, APIs, wellness products, so on and so forth. The image that you can see is our dedicated R&D center, which is situated here in Ahmedabad. So we have almost more than 400 research scientists employed over here in the R&D center. We have 20 active discovery programs that is ongoing. Recently, we have also received the approval for our phase 1 phase 2 clinical trial for the COVID vaccine. We have the new chemical entities which have been developed in-house for cardiometabolic diseases, for inflammatory disorders, for pain management, and for cancer therapeutics. On the screen, you can see the vaccines which we have. So, starting from top to bottom, top one includes all the currently marketed vaccines which are available in the market. Vaxirabin, which is WHO qualified. We have influenza vaccine. We have a typhoid conjugate vaccine. Now we have monoclonal antibodies cocktail for rabies, which is brand name is Twinrab. These are other vaccines which can be seen in various developmental phases at the various stages. These are the two products which I have been talking about. Saroglitazar, which is our new chemical entity, brand name is Lipaglyn. Adalimumab, which is world's first biosimilar, brand name is Exemptia, and world's first quadrivalent influenza vaccine in India, called as VacciQ4. Now coming to the product that we are going to discuss today is Twinrab. On the launch of this product, we have to commemorate this event, there is with the Indian postage, we have a postal stamp also, which is for vocal for local, and Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is clarion call that was raised by our Honorable Prime Minister. So that is we are at the forefront of rabies protection by supporting the global mission of zero death by dog rabies by 2030. We are trying to achieve this by creating awareness, advocacy, and education about rabies post-exposure prophylaxis. For this, today we have a luminary with us who has a vast and illustrious experience and career spanning over almost 3 decades now. He's an alumni of Maulana Azad Medical College. He's a lifetime member of Association of APCRI. Dr. A.K. Gupta is also the recipient of Best Anti-Rabies Center in Delhi NCR. He has been awarded with Most Promising Infectious Disease Center of the Year. He's Consultant of the Year, Worldwide Achievers Award, Best Anti-Rabies Doctor in Northern India. He has also been awarded as Indian Medical Association faculty position. In 2019, he has started Best All India Rabies Organization, which aims to alleviate the suffering and promotes the welfare and moral perception of animals in India. He is authored almost 7 different chapters in most of the textbooks. So I'll extend a warm welcome to Dr. A.K. Gupta sir here. Sir, welcome. Thank you for taking time out to deliberate on this webinar. I'll hand over the session to you, sir.
Thank you very much. I welcome you all at this webinar. Today's webinar on TwinRab is dedicated to Dr. Milstein and Dr. Kohler, who researched monoclonal antibodies in 1975 and won Nobel Prize also for this thing in 1984. Rabies, as we all know, is practically 100% fatal once the clinical signs appear, but at the same time, it is 100% vaccine preventable. Post-exposure management of animal bites depend on the category of animal bite wounds. Following situations need rabies immunoglobulin or monoclonal antibodies for passive immunization. All category 3 exposures, even category 2 exposures in immunocompromised or immunosuppressed individuals and bites by all wild animals require RIG or monoclonal antibodies. Passive immunity is the transfer of active humoral immunity of ready-made antibodies. Passive immunization is used for where there is a high risk of infection and insufficient time for the body to develop its own immune response. Rabies immunoglobulins provide passive immunization and is administered only once, as soon as possible after the initiation of post-exposure prophylaxis, and not beyond day 7 after the first dose of the vaccine. Correctly administered rabies immunoglobulin neutralizes the virus at the wound site within a few hours. But rabies immunoglobulins are blood derived. So there are many limitations of blood derived rabies immunoglobulins. First of all, the availability. There is limited supply of RIGs and they have a short shelf life, and you'll be surprised that only 1 to 10% of patients who need it, they receive RIG. Secondly, affordability. It is expensive. The RIGs are expensive, especially the human RIG, human rabies immunoglobulins. The third comes the quality. Batch to batch variations affects the efficacy of the product. And fourthly, as far as safety is concerned, ERIG now is improved, verified and safe. And WHO no longer recommends skin test prior to the administration of ERIG, that is equine rabies immunoglobulin. For human rabies immunoglobulins, we already don't require skin test. So looking at all these about limitations, therefore monoclonal antibodies for rabies post-exposure prophylaxis were developed with following advantages. Number 1, the monoclonal antibodies supplement the supply of the passive immunization component of post-exposure prophylaxis. Number 2, there is adequate supply of monoclonal antibodies and it is easier to produce, mass production is possible and quality control is easier. Thirdly, there is reduced production cost of monoclonal antibodies. Fourthly, monoclonal antibodies reduces the risk of adverse reactions also. There is advantage of concentrated neutralizing monoclonal antibodies. This is very important. And last of all, monoclonal antibodies are more affordable than human RIG and cost comparative or even less costly than the ERIGs. During the last 3 decades, numerous murine means mouse, murine and monoclonal antibodies have been developed against the rabies virus G protein. G protein is present in the surface spikes of the Lisa virus that neutralizes rabies virus and other strains of Lisa virus, both in vitro and in vivo. Monoclonal antibodies are specific to one or two of 5 distinct antigenic sites. Antigenic sites are also called epitopes on the rabies virus G protein. The antigenic sites are site 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is a minor site that is A site, with the vast majority of them recognizing only antigenic sites 2 or 3. Now I come to the TwinRab specifications. The TwinRab is the product of Zydus. So TwinRab is developed by Zydus Vexicare, which is 100% indigenous manufacturer of all the vaccines in the kitty, and so becomes vocal towards local. I repeat, it becomes vocal towards local. So I'll tell you the features of TwinRab. Number 1, TwinRab has 2 monoclonal antibodies of 2 different isotypes. Number 2, these monoclonal antibodies bind to 2 different epitopes on the G protein of the Lisa virus. TwinRab is proven to neutralize a wide diversity of rabies and rabies-like viruses in different strains of rabies virus in vitro and in vivo, just like equine RIG or human RIGs. Number 4, the TwinRab is comprising of as much neutralizing potency in international units as equine RIG, which is the dose of which is 40 IU per kg, or human RIG, the dose of which is 20 international units per kg. TwinRab is highly purified and can be produced in large quantities, and there are well characterized cell banks for TwinRab. There is elimination of use of animals. In the case of equine rabies immunoglobulins, we use horses and many other animals for procuring blood and all, because it's a blood derived product, that RIG. So there is elimination of use of animals. So no risk of zoonotic infections, there's no risk of blood or plasma or serum borne diseases like HIV, hepatitis B virus, hepatitis C virus, etc. And last of all, there is a reduced amount of proteins in the drug, the TwinRab, and high purity ensures less adverse reactions. And if I come to the composition of TwinRab, the INN name, it contains equipotent and 50% of 2 isotypes. And the INN name is Docaravimab and Miromavimab. Another name for Docaravimab is 62-71-3, and for Miromavimab, the other name is M777-16-3. 2 different types of isotypes are used in TwinRab. For Docaravimab, we use murine IgG 2B, and for Miromavimab, we use murine IgG 1. The epitopes means the site at which the antibody attaches to the antigen. That is called epitope. The epitope to which Docaravimab attaches is antigenic site 3 or 1, and Miromavimab attaches to antigenic site 2. The sources of Docaravimab and Miromavimab, the source of Docaravimab is CDC Atlanta, and of Miromavimab it is ADRI Canada. TwinRab comprises of 2 neutralizing monoclonal antibodies that bind to 2 unique non-overlapping. Please, this is very important. 2 unique non-overlapping epitopes on the G protein and are two different isotopes. Dosage and administration. The TwinRab is sterile, preservative-free, clear, colorless liquid solution for infiltration. And it is available in 4 different strengths: 1 ml, 2.5 ml, 5 ml, and 10 ml vial containing different amounts of TwinRab, of Revimab and Docaravimab. So this 1 ml vial contains 600 international units of TwinRab. 2.5 ml contains 1500 international units of TwinRab. 5 ml vial contains 3000 IU of TwinRab, and 10 ml vial contains 300,000 international units of TwinRab, that is 300 international units per ml. The recommended dose of TwinRab is 40 international units per kg of body weight. TwinRab is administered by infiltration around the bite wounds or scratches and intramuscularly also. One very important fact that TwinRab has received orphan drug designation from US FDA. I would like to tell you about orphan drug. What is orphan drug? An orphan drug is a pharmaceutical agent developed to treat medical conditions which would not be profitable to produce without government assistance. So for TwinRab, we have government assistance also. In the manufacturing of TwinRab, we use recombinant DNA hybridoma technology. A basic knowledge of immunology is necessary to understand this recombinant DNA hybridoma technology. I'll try in simple way. The recombinant DNA is constructed when scientists combine pieces of DNA from 2 different sources and often from 2 different species to form a single molecule. And about hybridoma, hybridoma is basically a culture of hybrid cells that results from the fusion of B cells and myeloma cells. Hybridoma technology produces hybridoma. This technology was developed to produce monoclonal antibodies. Hybridomas possess important properties of B cells, production of antibodies, and immortalization. Immortalization means to reproduce indefinitely or everlasting type of myeloma cells. You should also know how hybridoma cells are produced. So this is quite interesting. Hybridomas are produced by injecting a specific antigen into a mouse and collecting an antibody producing cell from the mouse spleen and fusing it with the tumor cell called a myeloma cell. The hybridoma cells multiply indefinitely in the laboratory and can be used to produce a specific antibody indefinitely. Hybridoma technology, what is it? This is a method for producing large number of identical antibodies, also called monoclonal antibodies. This process starts by injecting a mouse or other mammal also with an antigen and that provokes an immune response. A type of white blood cell, the B cell, produces antibodies that bind to the injected antigen. These antibody producing B cells are then harvested from the mouse and in turn fused with the immortal cell, cancer cells, a myeloma, to produce a hybrid cell line. We produce a hybrid cell line called a hybridoma. This is what a hybridoma is, which has both the antibody producing ability of the B cell and the longevity and reproductivity of the myeloma. Now we will come to the latest WHO recommendations. WHO, the World Health Organization, has stated that if available, the use of monoclonal antibodies products instead of rabies immunoglobulin is encouraged. WHO encourages the development of products containing two or more, not one, two or more monoclonal antibodies with non-overlapping, please understand it clearly, the epitopes are non-overlapping. So WHO encourages the development of products containing two or more monoclonal antibodies with non-overlapping epitopes to increase the efficacy and breadth of rabies virus neutralization. WHO experts agreed that cocktails containing more than one monoclonal antibody be pursued to minimize the risk of failure due to escape mutants. You must know what escape mutants are. This means making mutations in its genotypes, the genotypes of microorganisms and phenotypes as one mechanism to avoid destruction by the host cells, like we see in HIV also. So if we come to the discussions, despite the medical need and promising public health benefits of rabies monoclonal antibodies, the pathway to product approval and uptake is really challenging. Many reasons exist for this limited. Rabies is largely a disease of developing countries, of poor people, poor countries. And secondly, a foreseen lack of return on investment. It's all business. Maybe a barrier for manufacturers to enter into costly product development. And thirdly, last of all, the clinical development pathway may be foreseen as complicated. But there's a suggestion that development of a WHO pre-qualification could be used to assess rabies monoclonal antibodies coming to the market, like this one, Twinrab. So to conclude, there is a clear public health need for safe, effective, and affordable rabies immunoglobulin, for which monoclonal antibodies like Twinrab offer a promising alternative solution to supplement the supply. In particular, monoclonal antibodies could overcome the supply shortage and affordability issues experienced globally, not only in India, all over the world. Efforts to develop rabies monoclonal antibodies have been going on for many, many years. An important step towards ensuring that these products are used is that the WHO formal position paper on rabies vaccine now includes recommendations for the use of monoclonal antibodies products in post-exposure prophylaxis schedule. However, in order to ensure uptake of rabies monoclonal antibodies in the poorest settings, procurement mechanisms should be established to aid low-resource countries, which may be facilitated through the establishment of a WHO pre-qualification scheme, as is done in the cases of rabies vaccines. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful deliberation. The session would be open for question and answer. Before that, would like to take the entire delegates who are attending here through the clinical trial journey of Twinrab as well. So I'll share the clinical trial details as well.
Questions are welcome.
Post this, if you have any queries, please feel free to type in the chat box. I think Dr. Gupta sir will clarify all the doubts. So as sir has already covered the challenges with HREG, EREG and single map, I'm not going to spend more time on this. Instead, I'll take you through the minutes of meeting of the WHO meeting that sir has already mentioned that happened in 2002, in which in the same meeting it was found out that 35% patients require post-exposure prophylaxis, and only 1% of those subjects they actually receive the post-exposure treatment in rabies bite cases. In the same meeting, it was decided to create the monoclonal antibodies which can pave the pathway for the replacement to rabies immunoglobulins. In this meeting, there were various centers that were established for creating and sourcing these candidates for monoclonal antibodies. So, as sir has mentioned, Docaravimab and Tomavimab, which are present in Venrab. So, we have received and sourced these cell banks from CDC Atlanta, USA, and one from ADRA, Canada. So, M777 is Birmavimab from Canada and Docara from CDC Atlanta. Now, as sir has already mentioned that dosing is very much critical for complete neutralization of the virus at the site of bite. So this is just a small graphic presentation that the maximum concentration leads to complete neutralization. With this, I'd also like to highlight a dose escalation study which was conducted for HREC in the year 1971. Now, from this study, it was found out that for any reg to become successful, there are two parameters. One is it should be giving complete neutralization of the virus at the site and also ensuring that there is no concomitant neutralization of the vaccine. So in this graph, if you see, the first graph is showing when only a vaccine is given. So for the first 7 days, there was no antibody titers. So antibody titers started rising after 7 days. Considering the incubation period is highly variable of the virus, this gives first 7 days becomes the window when a virus can, being a neurotropic, can start attacking the nervous system. Hence, passivity becomes paramount importance along with the vaccine. So next was when HREC was given at the dose of 10 IU per kg along with the vaccine, there was some increase in the titers, but not as good as 20 or 40 IU, which I'm going to show you in the upcoming graphs. When at 20 IU, there was a very good response in the antibody titers along with the vaccine, and you can see the graph further 84 days as well, giving a clear protection of window. Now, there was a paradoxical response that was seen with HRIG at 40. So, when at 40 IU, again, the antibody titers rose very well. But after 7 to 14 days, there was seen a paradoxical drop in the antibody titers. This suggested that there was a cross-neutralization of HRIG along with the vaccine at a higher doses. Hence, at present, in the current scenario, the doses for HRIG is 20 IU per kg along with the vaccine. We have another product which is ERIC. So, with the aspiration of giving the maximum concentration possible in the wound in the least possible volume, Twinra was created keeping that in mind. As sir has already covered all the highlights of the product, I'm not going to repeat it again. These are all the critical features as already covered by Dr. Gupta sir. Different isotypes mentioned, the INA names, the isotype of the antibodies, the binding site for Docara, that is site 3 or site 1, and Miruma, that is site 2. It does not neutralize the concomitant vaccine that is being given, that is being the major USP, thereby providing a complete window of protection for almost 90 days. This is the graph of our in vitro study that was conducted for both the maps. This was conducted at CDC Atlanta. You can see 62713 and M777, which was compared with ESRIC. This was serum rabies immunoglobulins. The orange one strains that I have highlighted are rabies-related viruses. So it has been tested for neutralization in various dilutions also, 1:5, 25, 125, and 625. As you can see, most of the dilution and neutralization of the virus are more or less overlapping with the serum rabies immunoglobulin. Similarly, other various strains were also tested in vitro for both the maps in comparison with ESRIC. These are all the strains as you can see on the screen, and the orange one highlighted are rabies-related Lysa viruses. This was conducted in FLI, Germany. Again, the results in serial dilution are more or less overlapping with 6271-3, SREG and M777 and SREG. With this, we moved on to the in vivo studies and virus challenge studies, which are conducted on Hanschel model. So these are the results. One was conducted on Thai canine rabies variant, second on Mexican canine rabies variants in Hanschel model. Again, the cocktail versus HREC. As you can see, cocktail has given a survival rate of 100% as compared to HREC, which was 55.5%. Similarly, in the Mexican model also, cocktail versus HREC, survival rate was 100% with the cocktail as compared to 44.4% with HREC. This was again the Syrian hamster model for Texas fox. Here also the HREC was compared along with Rabimab. Rabimab was the erstwhile name of Venrab. The survival rate is already you can see on your screen as compared to HREC. Sorry, I have skipped few slides. Plus, Indian street isolates were tested. All the strains you can see on your screen from which were isolated from the different species, and they were tested with Rabimab, HREC, and EREC, all of whom has seen with 100% survival rate in all the three products. After this, we moved on to our clinical trials, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. The overall overview and with the respective dates which we have received the permission from DCGI is already visible on your screen. The marketing authorization we have received in 2018. At present, the product is already available in the market. This graph which I am showing you is from the dose escalation study or phase 1 study, which was conducted to find out the maximum possible dose, which give the maximum concentration in area under curve with Venrab. As you can see with 40 IU, the maximum area under the curve was observed and maximum concentration was seen. In phase 2 study, healthy volunteers, 18 healthy volunteers were recruited in the study in which Venrab was given along with the vaccine. So because these are healthy volunteers, there was no bite in the volunteers. So the mode of administration was intramuscular in the dose of 40 IU per kg. Now in this phase 2 study, you can see when a placebo was given, that is only vaccine was given, there was no antibody titers which can be seen for the first 7 days. Whereas when Venrab was given, the antibody titers were seen from the day 1 onwards, giving a maximum concentration and providing a neutralization of the viruses. These titers, they increased continuously along with the vaccine, suggesting that there was no neutralization of the vaccine along with Venrab in both early and late phases. Now after this, we moved on to our phase 3 clinical trial. Now in phase 3, category 3 bite victims were recruited. So all of the patients who were recruited in this head-to-head clinical trial were of category 3 bites. It was a randomized, multicentric, open-label, comparative control study. 308 subjects were recruited in the study. 308 were divided into 2 different groups. One group received Venrab along with the vaccine. Second group received Imogam, which is HREC along with the vaccine. So the objective was to find out the proportion of subjects with RFF titers of more than 0.5 IU per ml on day 14, which is the cutoff that has been established by WHO. We also looked out for the RFF titers on day 3, day 7, day 28, 42, and 84. For the first day 3 and day 7, the cutoff is RFF titers more than 0.1 IU per ml was considered. And from day 14 onwards, 0.5 IU per ml was considered. We also looked out for the local and systemic adverse reactions and anti-drug antibodies that can be generated with Venrab or HREC. So this is the overall flowchart of the study. There were 7 visits that were conducted in the overall study period. One group received Fenrab in the dose of 40 IU. Second group received Imogam in the dose of 20 IU per kg. SN regimen, that is intramuscular regimen of 5 dose vaccine schedule was preferred on day 0, 3, 7, 14, and 28. They were also asked to come back again for follow-up till on day 42 and on day 84. This was a multicentric trial as per the recommendations given by DCGI. So all these are the centers which were recruited in the study. They were geographically distributed all across India, south, west, east, and north. The results which I am going to show you have been divided into 2 different groups. One is per patient protocol and second one is modified intention to treat protocol, that is MITT, and per patient protocol. These are the definitions. Because of the want of time, I would not harp on the definitions as such. So the primary endpoint, that was RMU titers of more than 0.5. Here you can see blue color is Imogam, orange one is Revimax. The responder rate in per patient protocol was more or less comparable. P-value was more than 0.05, 0.2. This clearly signifies that both the results are similar and Revimax is non-inferior to Imogam. Similarly, MITT protocol, P-value was 0.8. Again, Fenrab and Imogam showed similar kind of results. These are the secondary endpoints on day 28, 42, and 84. I'd like to take you through the geometric mean titers in a linear graph. So this shows on all the days that have been accounted for. So on day 0, 3, 7, 14, 28, 42, and 84. As you can see, the most of the RBNA titers for per patient protocol and MITT has been more or less similar or better as compared to Imogam. But the p-value, again, I'll reinforce, it was non-significant. So this is a non-inferiority trial for Fenrab and Imogam. Now for the adverse events, majority of the adverse events belong to mild category. Few of the adverse event came into moderate category. There were no severe adverse events seen in our clinical trial. There was no anaphylactic reaction seen. There was no death of the patient in the clinical trial. So almost 68 subjects had adverse events. Most of the adverse events again were mild in category. None of the subjects were discontinued from the study. There was no death or severe adverse event, no anaphylaxis, and again the p-value was more than 0.05, stating that the adverse events were more or less similar in both the groups. After these phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 clinical trials, you will see the marketing authorization. Fenrab has met both the primary and secondary objectives. It was found to be safe and well tolerated. Doses of 40 IU per kg, which is giving maximum concentration in the least possible volume to locally neutralize a large number of rabies virus particles. There is no significant neutralization of the concomitant vaccine. It contains 2 unique monoclonal antibodies, which is as per the WHO recommendation from the WHO position paper of 2018, where it clearly mentions that cocktail mAb should be preferred for rabies immunoglobulins and single mAb, so mitigate the risk of viral escape, which sir has already mentioned in his presentation earlier. So to summarize and highlight the USPs of the product, it has received orphan drug designation, tested for neutralization of various viral species, developed in collaboration with WHO. There is no risk of zoonotic infections, standard quality and greater effectiveness. There are less adverse events and highly purified product. With this, I'd like to acknowledge our collaboration with WHO, and I'd also like to acknowledge and thank the biotech department, the toxicology department, ClinOps team, manufacturing, and bioanalytics department. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Now the session is open for question and answer. Please feel free to type in the questions in your chat box. Dr. Gupta sir, there is a query coming out that what is the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare recommendations on passive immunity against rabies? Sir, you will have to unmute, sir.
Okay. WHO has also recommended that WHO encourages the development of products containing 2 or more monoclonal antibodies with non-overlapping epitopes to increase the efficacy and breadth of rabies virus neutralization. And the experts agreed that cocktails containing more than 1 monoclonal antibodies be pursued to minimize the risk of failure due to escape mutants. So WHO has stated that if available, the use of monoclonal antibodies like Twinrab instead of RIG, instead of rabies immunoglobulins, be it HRIG or be it ERIG, it is encouraged. So WHO has also encouraged the use of monoclonal antibodies. So
The next, sir, please go ahead. Sorry.
I think this answers your question.
Yes, sir. Sir, the next question is coming is apart from local infiltration, is intramuscular dose recommended?
It is also recommended in the case of Twinrab. It is also recommended, but as much as is anatomically possible, it should be infiltrated into and around the wound.
So the next question is, how is it superior from in protection?
How it is superior than?
From current products in protection.
As I told you earlier also, Twinrab has 2 monoclonal antibodies of 2 different isotypes, the Docaraibimab and Miromavimab. So they attach to 2 different epitopes, means 2 different antigenic sites. The Docaraibimab attaches to site 3 or 1 and Miromavimab attaches to antigenic site 2. So the coverage is more. There is no escape mutant. There is no virus which is escaped. So all the viruses are killed. This is definitely better than all the available monoclonal antibodies as well as the HRIG and ERIGs.
So there is another question coming as, is there any study of Twinrab along with intradermal anti-rabies vaccine with Red Cross Thai schedule?
Till date, there is no such study.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Some more questions, please. This is a wonderful product, this Twinrab. Highly purified and can be produced in large quantities. No risk of blood or plasma or serum borne in diseases like HIV or hepatitis B virus or hepatitis C virus. And very importantly, there is reduced amount of proteins in the drug and high purity ensures less adverse reactions. So Twinrab is a wonderful product.
There is a question coming about the cost of Twinrab. Yes, sir.
Cost of all the monoclonal antibodies which are coming in the market, they are definitely less than the HRIG and comparable to the ERIG, that is equine RIG, rabies immunoglobulins. So they are quite cheap, quite economical, I would say.
Sir, I was late in joining the webinar.
Yes, sir.
Can you please repeat the schedule?
Schedule of what?
Schedule of vaccination of Twinrab.
It is just like SNIM regime, like 0, 3, 7, 14, 28 intramuscular, or and this is for vaccine. And for this thing, your serum ERIG or HRIG. And similarly, for Twinrab, it is 40 units per kg body weight on the day of first vaccination.
Thank you so much, sir, for clarifying that.
Yeah. It should be given as early as possible whenever you start initiating the post-exposure prophylaxis.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Does it satisfy you, or should I explain you in more details?
So that has clarified, I think. Thank you so much.
Hello, 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 hello,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir.
Hello.
Please go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
can you hear me? Hello,
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes,
Loud. and-
hello,
I can hear
hello.
you. Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, yes. Very many congratulations to you, Dr. Gupta.
Thank you
This is
very much.
Sumit Poddar.
Oh, Dr.
A very nice presentation.
Thank you
Very
much.
nice presentation. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank
Thank you very much.
you, sir.
I have heard it. Thank you. Wonderful presentation.
You are my boss, sir.
Wonderful deliberation. No, no, you were wonderful, wonderful. You have given the presentation in very nice way.
Thank you very much.
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Many will be benefited from your speech.
Thank you, Ji. Thank
Thank you. Thank you.
you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, any other question, please?
Sir, I think there are no further queries.
From your side?
And thank you so much for the wonderful deliberation. It has clarified most of our doubts as well.
Yeah.
With this, probably we will close this session. Before logging out, I'd like to thank Dr. Gupta sir for taking his
Thank
time
you.
out and giving a wonderful presentation.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very much.
everyone for taking time out on Sunday and attending this webinar. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, sir.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Please ask your question.
Sir, I think Dr. Wadhwa has dropped out.
Okay. Should I wait for him?
I think he has logged out, sir.
So, vocal towards local remains the slogan of the day.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.